Our faith is what binds us and holds us together as a community.
Our faith is moderate, mainstream, American.
Our faith is compassionate, dynamic, and enduring.
Our faith is diverse.
Our faith is justice.
Our religion teaches to love other people, to help other people, and it's a peaceful religion.
To me, Islam represents deep faith in God, service, and a source of peace.
In the last week, we've seen 6 attacks on Islamic centers throughout the country.
The Council on American Islamic Relations is calling on the FBI to investigate the incident as a hate crime.
The incident in Evergreen Park is just the latest in a series of hate crimes reported in the Chicago metro area in the past few weeks. A shooting at this Morton Grove Mosque complex, and in Lombard, the acid bombing of a Muslim school.
For the second time this summer, fire breaks out at an Islamic mosque in Joplin. The building was burned to the ground in just a short time.
When a small community like the one in Joplin, Missouri, suffers a total loss of the only place they have, which is the mosque, for their small community, they need someone to stand by them. And we decided to go there immediately to offer support. When I saw the mosque totally burned out, I was really devastated. I was shocked. And I just could see it in the eyes of the local community members that this was a major loss for them.
These members of the Council on American Islamic Relations visit Joplin to show support in the effort to rebuild a destroyed mosque.
Showing that this great community is not going to be taken by fear. And I think it's upon all of us to pull together and bring the perpetrators to justice.
Because if one house of worship is targeted, who's to say that somebody else won't go out and do the same thing?
The community has been offering support, speaking up, building coalitions with other groups, interfaith and political groups, to push back against Islamophobia and hate speech, hate mongering, and hate crimes.
I work for Cair because I wake up every day knowing that I'm going to have a positive impact on the American Muslim community.
Well, the main challenge facing our community is the sharp rise in anti-Muslim sentiment in our society.
There is a radical strain of Islam in this country. It's not just over there trying to kill Americans everywhere.
I think our community is going through a phase that probably every other community in America had to go through. And that is the phase of being accepted.
Discrimination in this country has changed over the last 10 years, and it's gone from having problems wearing my headscarf at work or having my beard to we actually have legislators trying to pass law to discriminate against our community. That's unacceptable in America, and it has to change.
Starting in 2010, there has been a proliferation of bills at the state level designed to stigmatize and treat unequally Muslims throughout the country.
So in Pennsylvania, a legislator named Rosemary Swanger introduced a version of the anti-Islam bill. There, Cair mobilized its resources, held a press conference with several interfaith leaders. That attention brought it to a halt, and that's where it sits right now. It hasn't moved forward.
And we're just hopeful that we can carry the momentum to continue to show politicians that this type of legislation that targets religious minorities, is unconstitutional.
The court concluded Awad made a strong case that the amendment exposes him and other Muslims in Oklahoma to discrimination. It also says he could potentially win his lawsuit to permanently stop the law.
And Cair's worked on so many levels, whether the grassroots level all the way up to the governmental level, combating these issues of Islamophobia and training the next leaders in the Islamic community on how to combat the issues of Islamophobia. Very formidable work. If Cair wasn't doing it, there would be an extraordinary void in that type of work.
I think if we ever want to advance as a community and we want to have our voice heard in this country, we have to stand up for our rights because nobody else is going to do it for us.
Cair chapters around the country
do a number of youth leadership programs. They're multi-day trainings that focus on political engagement and activities, communications, and other skills that Muslim youth really need to succeed here in America.
We're handing over to the next generation a difficult situation in this country. And so we, as an institution, are obligated to make sure that the young people are given the tools that we have learned from other communities who have been in this situation.
Revelations tonight of religious profiling by the NYPD.
The NYPD's anti-terror cops specifically targeted Muslims and gave other religious groups a pass. Newly released top-secret documents show.
The NYPD created a department that specialized exclusively in spying on American Muslims, not only in New York City, not just in New Jersey, but it looks like all across the East Coast.
We're American in every sense of the word, and yet over and over again we have to prove that we're American. And this news of the NYPD surveillance just shows yet again that the only reason that we're being targeted is because of our ethnicity or our religion. And this is completely un-American.
When you look at the documents called the Demographics Unit, a PowerPoint presentation detailing the 29 ancestries of interest that the police were supposed to be monitoring, which are 28 Muslim-majority countries, and the 29th is the, quote, American Black Muslim. To see this document, it's the definition of racial profiling.
But to be engaged in wholesale ethnic and religious profiling, that's wrong.
It runs the risk of sending a signal to people that just being a Muslim is a criminal activity.
In the past 10 years, we have seen an increase of some 74% in the number of mosques in America. And just within the last several years, we've seen states across the nation where there's an organized effort to oppose the construction and expansion of mosques.
We have asked the Department of Justice to get involved and just take a look at this issue, because we do feel that discrimination may be at play here. I think we're optimistic that the laws are on our side and we will get justice.
Well, one of the main benefits that Cair has been able to offer to the Muslim community over the years is media relations training for Muslim activists. We hope through this training to bring out positive stories in the local media, particularly when people are usually bombarded with negative stories about Islam and Muslims. This year, American media outlets carried more than 12,000 stories about the month of Ramadan, with the vast majority of the stories offering positive information. Since 1995, Cair was able to help local communities maximize the positive impact of Ramadan through distribution of our Ramadan publicity kit to leaders and activists nationwide. In 1994, before Cair's founding, there were just 376 references to Ramadan. Since our founding, Cair has promoted media coverage of Ramadan annually as an excellent way to highlight the Muslim community's unique contributions to American society.
It is a community perhaps 1 million strong in California, but one that often feels marginalized, the victims of bias based on headlines and world events. Now, as KTVU's Ken Pritchett reports, California Muslims are making sure their voices are heard at the state capitol.
It's the first Muslim Day at the Capitol in California.
Zahra Ballou is with the San Francisco chapter of the Council on American Islamic Relations, or CAIR.
We are voters, we are donors, we are civically engaged, and we want to make our voices heard.
About 36 members of CAIR walked the halls of the Capitol to lobby lawmakers on immigration issues and on a new bill that clarifies rules on religious attire in the workplace.
In the last 4 years, Cair has received almost 300 complaints about citizenship delays. One of these cases was a case of Muhammad Sarfraz, who came to us and reported that he had been experiencing a very long delay in his citizenship.
After 2.5 years, I was really tired. So somebody referred me to Cair. They said, go and talk to them, maybe they can help you out.
Cair drafted a lawsuit on his behalf.
With the help of Cair, I got my citizenship within 2 months. So I'm proud now, being a citizen of the United States of America.
2012 is an incredibly important election. It's going to be very close. People are looking at Ohio, Florida as places where the election will be decided.
Chapters are going from mosque to mosque, Islamic community centers, and they're making sure that everyone who's not registered is registered this year.
It's crucial to have Muslims on the Hill discussing issues of relevance to the American public.
Every year, CAIR chapters from across the country come to D.C. to meet their members of Congress and inform them about the issues affecting American Muslims. This year in particular, we broke CAIR's record, meeting with 113 members of Congress across 2 days.
Number one complaints I've heard from legislators in the past is they don't see or hear from their Muslim constituents. So if we're there, if we're pushing for our ideas, then we'll start to see policy that reflects the values we think are most central to American principles.
The model that CAIR has as an institution has inspired people that American Muslims can produce an institution that helps itself, helps the Muslim community, and can be a bridge between Muslims and people of other faiths.
With CAIR, I believe we can send the right message for our communities.
We help people stand up for themselves.
They're willing to take whatever steps necessary in order to ensure that the civil rights of the Muslim community is taken account and protected.
I don't think any other organization stands for the Muslim community in the same way that CAIR does.
And this organization is only as strong as the community that it supports, and that's why we need everyone's involvement.
It is our obligation, moral, religious, legal, to work through the system, to take advantage of the great rights given to us through our Constitution.
We care about the Constitution, we care about freedom, we care about religious freedom, we care about the American way.
I come to work every day at CAIR because I want to make sure that the U.S. Constitution is preserved against people who want to erode the freedoms given to us.
On behalf of CAIR, I would like to say thank you for giving the honor to serve you. And without you, we cannot serve you. Assalamu alaikum.